girl, how are you really doing? Hi loves, ready lady girl from around the way. We're a culture, conversation, and community, and in today's video I am back with some commentary about the Wendy Williams documentary. Now originally I was going to come in here and talk about the movie and little doodads and all of this and all of that, but after I watched the documentary, What a Mess, I was so triggered, y'all. Like, it was just too much. Now, I'll go on to say the woman who played Wendy Williams did that, okay? She did that. Run her things, okay? The movie was well written, well cast, well, you know, produced, everything, all of those things. You can tell that Wendy really had creative control of the project, because I feel like biopics tend to kind of like drop the ball when the person whose life it's about is not involved, or the family, the estate won't give the rights. We all know who I'm talking about, but y'all get the drift. That didn't give us that. Wendy's biopic was good on Lifetime. Y'all did it. But what I really want to talk about is the documentary. Girl, like I was saying earlier, I was triggered, and like for so many reasons. But here's the thing, like, I'm already hip to the BS, but it was just so much. I think it has something to do with the level of Wendy's success that kind of took me aback a little bit, considering the shell of a man that she had around her for all those years. She was able to attain this level of success. But you know, we'll get into it. And like I was saying before, y'all all know I'm here for a good old, you know, fun-spirited, lighthearted, ratchet review. I'm not too above that, but I'm telling y'all, it was something about watching that documentary that really kind of just spoke to me. It really just let me know that this is a teachable moment. I feel like a lot of women can relate to what Wendy went through. Not only that, her story is so common, okay? She's walking around here a millionaire, okay, and she's going through things that regular degulars are going through. And I just feel like it hit home to a lot of women that I know, you know, the woman I used to be. Like, it was just so, I just knew that I wanted to talk about the documentary versus the movie, because there's something there. There's something to be learned, okay, about Wendy's situation. Let's jump right in. Let me just start off with, ladies, we don't owe men shit. Nothing, okay? Stop thinking that we have to be down and we have to be cool and we have to put up with so much in order to keep a man. That's never the case. And stop measuring the success of a relationship by the number of years that you've been together, okay? We all know the statement, quality over quantity. Before I jump right into the relationship aspect of Wendy's cautionary tale, I think it's fair to start from her childhood. Wendy grew up the middle child. She was, you know, overweight. She was an eyeball out. She remembers her father telling her how beautiful her face is, or how beautiful it could have been had she not been fat. And Wendy, in her 50+ years of age, spoke into Lifetime's cameras and said it, regurgitated that like the dad just told her that last night. That is how much of an impact father figures have on their children, especially their girl children. And boys too. And boys too. Let me not even do this whole female male thing. Now, I know we have a few, you know, couple of good-hearted, good wholesome cisgendered men a part of the community over here, and let me just say this, I am not bashing y'all in any type of way, but you know, some of y'all need to do better. And I'm urging you all to speak life over your children, okay? That's so important. And if you were a child that was at the end of verbal abuse as an adult, it's okay. You know, you can't go back and change the past, but you can now as an adult speak life over yourself today, okay? And undo some of all of the negative things that were put onto you. Ladies too, I think it's time for us to start getting real and honest about some of the ignorant behaviors that we think is harmless, but really are impacting our children. Like, you know, like calling your kids dumb. Oh, sit your stupid ass down. Like, stop saying that shit. We have to watch what we say so we can raise a generation of children that has a strong foundation of their self-worth, of their self-confidence, and just their identity as a whole. Which is the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Wendy grew up and her foundation was rocky, honey. It was rocky. Unlike most people hate to admit it, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about the environment that you grew up in. The environment that you grew up in 9 times out of 10 is going to determine where you're going to go if you know, don't have the skills or the tools to change and transform yourself into the person that you really want to become. Instead of her parents maybe embracing her, providing a healthy environment so that way she could, feel better about herself and in turn, you know, make healthier choices or play outside more, whatever the case, because I'm not going to sit up here and endorse, childhood obesity, because that is a thing, and especially in the Black community, okay? Call a thing, call a spade a spade. It planted a seed of unworthiness in her that she carried into her adult life. According to Psychology Today, if you were assaulted, sexually assaulted as a child or once in your life, you're more likely to be assaulted again. It's kind of like, sex offenders can smell the blood in the water, you know what I'm saying? And they come after you again. I think that when you are brought up in that environment of unworthiness and being unsure of yourself, much like sex offenders, these lame-o, wacko niggas will smell you out too, the same way. You know what I'm saying? It has the same type of effect. People can smell your insecurities from a mile away, especially women, especially, predatory men. And then you end up attracting men like Kelvin Hunter, whatever his name is, right on the brink of your come up. Or even worse, when you're in the beginning stages of trying to figure out where you want to go or what you want to do. And it'll take a man, okay, a shell of a man is what I'll call it, okay, that'll come in and disrupt whatever it is that you have going on. So many women place value on themselves by the men that they're with. They're very codependent on their partners. And that's something that could be avoid it if you just really do the work. Y'all know the chick who, oh, I gotta have a man, I can't be alone, it can't be this, it can't be that. Wendy was famously saying how, she was her own best friend. That's what make her so special. But here's the thing, sis, you knew that your husband had bought his mistress of 10 years, now by, for real, common law marriage, that's his wife, you know what I'm saying? A wife 10 miles away from your house, and you're with him because your child is graduating high school in 2 years? No. No. You were codependent on that man. Being in a relationship that's not working out in your favor, that you guys are both not equally yoked, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Sometimes, y'all, it's best to be alone. It really is. Especially if you don't have this right. Okay, because then you're more likely to give access to your heart to the wrong person. Okay, sometimes, y'all, it's really just best to be alone, especially if you don't have this right. All right, because then you're more than likely to give the wrong person access to your heart. Although Wendy had her career together, I don't think she had herself together. I don't think she had her inner child together. Okay, I don't think she had her mental space together. And this is how you end up attracting and staying with, okay, an abusive, controlling, manipulative type of man while you hitting the pavement every day, you know what I mean, going back and forth to work and shit. Like, you are the foundation of any relationship, any situation. Every person should think about it that way. And if I'm not together, anything that I touch is not going to produce anything that's good. You can force it, it can work out, it can be a happenstance, but I'm specifically talking about relationships. And like, codependency is not something that's so far-fetched and is so unheard of. Like, this is a real thing. I know a couple of people right now, you know what I mean? I'm not too above or too removed to be like, yeah, I can see me being codependent in certain situations and not even knowing that that's what it is. Girl, let me calm down. Anyways, Wendy's mentioned that, he was her protector. And but part of me does believe that he was her protector because, she said she was on the radio, she was pissing people off, they were coming at her neck and everything like that. And when you wilding in the streets, you know what I mean? Because, she was wilding in the streets for real and wilding in the radio streets, you're going to need a little bit of protection. But a huge but, I think it was more than protection he was providing her. He was providing her the comfort of stability, or an illusion of stability, okay? He became very familiar to her. The abuse becomes familiar. When you're sitting in, a soiled area, when you first walk in, it's like, oh my gosh, it stinks. But if you stay in it 15-20 minutes, the smell is not as bad and you can no longer smell it. That's becoming nose blind to certain things. And she was nose blind to his toxic behaviors because she was dealing with him for 22 years, which is why she's in her documentary. And she's like, oh, I'm in my bachelorette pad rather, and I'm sitting in the window and I have my Doritos and my caviar, and she breaks down and is like, oh, Kevin, you fucked up. So, like, You know, every other moment she's crying. She was on like this emotional roller coaster, just trying to get through it. She was stopping and crying and stopping and crying. And here's the thing, like, are you really healing? I don't even think she's sad that the news came out that he cheated, that he had a baby, although I'm sure those things hurt. Okay? I think she's more broken and more upset about the fact that she can no longer depend on him. She can no longer say, this is somebody I can come home to. Because up until now, she knew her man was cheating on her and she was okay with it, but she knew when it came, you know, time for it, she was the queen or whatever the case may be, and he would come home. But now that's different. Okay, so you're laid up in your bachelorette pad, you know, eating caviar, looking out the window with your two cats, and he is wherever he is with his mistress of 10 years, and he has a whole new life, literally and figuratively. A life that you funded. That's crazy. You crying about anything, you need to be crying about that. And I think powerful, successful women always get this idea that, you know, oh, it's going to be me and my man at the top and we're Bonnie and Clyde and this, that, and the third. And don't get me wrong, I feel like two heads are better than one. I say it all the time. But when you are enrolling a spouse, a partner, a significant other, and you guys are on a mission, you have to make sure the passengers in your car are going to the same location. Baby, that's so important. Don't be fooled, because people can be plotting and finessing, telling you exactly what you want to hear. Okay. Meanwhile, they're just waiting for an opportunity. Like, oh yeah, her location right here, but I'm stopping right here. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till she gets to this point, then I'm gonna dip off. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes we make it easy for them. Okay, because we're women and we're emotional. We want to be protected. We want to be talked to and loved. And while we're running our mouth, they're steady listening, so they can tell you and feed you what you want to hear. Oh, this is her weakness here. This is this, that, and you know what I mean. And this is why it's important to be careful and be mindful of who you let around you. You know, like if people always say I have $1 million idea in my mind, so let me be careful. I don't, you know, I just have to bring it to me. So if you know that you have this value, let's just say, you can, you know, be sleeping around somebody and say it in the middle of the night. Now they off to the races, you know, trademarking all of your ideas or whatever the case may be. So even in simple conversation, you need to be careful and mindful and protect your dreams, protect your goals, because people don't want to see you win sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Or they want to see you, they want to ride with you, they want to stay close because yeah, she might be on a come up right now, so let me stay here. But they still don't mean you any good because they want to suck and get everything that they can out of you because they're too mediocre to achieve the things that you have. And maybe they're not even mediocre. Maybe they just don't want to. Simple as that. Why should I have to do the work when I can find me a sucker, catch a sucker, and they can do it and I can reap all the benefits? Or maybe they don't have the self-esteem to go ahead and go after what they want to. It could be so many different things. And I think the situation with Kevin, you know, I'm sure that there was male ego that was involved. She was the star. He was behind the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he got, he was, you know, the husband to a superstar. You get what I'm saying? And men, you know, you have to coddle men because they, you know, God forbid, you know a little bit more than them. You make a little bit more than them. They walking around here like they crazy. So it was a power situation, I'm sure. There was the control situation. I'm sure the manipulation came in once he started cheating. It was so many factors. He got to put on appearances because let's keep it real. He from the hood. You know what I mean? It's not like he was some square green dude that was just like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. His success was solely based on her success. You don't think, you knew he knew that. That's why he had to bring her down a couple notches. Oh, you doing this, I'm gonna do this to you. And you gotta be careful, careful. I'm saying it to y'all as I'm saying it to myself. You need to be careful with who you let around you. Okay? Ladies, we need to do the work. We need to do the work so we're not victimized out here looking crazy in these streets like Wendy Williams. And I appreciate Wendy for being vulnerable. You know what I mean? I'm sure your mama's mom, my mom, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, somebody can relate to this story because it's very, very common. And I want to make that uncommon. And I just wanted to come over here and get my 2 cents on it for you, girl. If you know better, you do better. That's what they say. Sometimes if you know better, you got to choose to do better. Let's make choices here. Let's be strategic in dating, okay? Let's be honest with ourselves so we can heal ourselves and grow from things. So that way we can recognize the red flags in partners because we've already healed it and conquered those battles. So I'm not going to, talk your head off because I know I can. This video is already long. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I mean, Wendy is way more human than she's ever been before. Okay? And Wendy's having a tower moment. That's fine. But, one thing about tower moments, things crumble so better things can be built up. And I'm wishing her all the best. You know what I mean? And that's just that on that. As always, I'm sending you love and light. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.